Hello students, this side Meena. I hope that you all are fine and doing very well. So in psychology now we will move with the next chapter, that is chapter number 6, and name of the chapter is learning. In this chapter we will come to know that what is the nature of the learning, what are the different types of learning. After that we will also come to know that what type of psychological processes occur when we are in a phase of learning. These processes we can consider in our thinking way, these processes we can consider in our behavior also. After that we will also come to know about the new learning styles. Let's move with the chapter. In this our first topic is nature of learning. When we are talking about the word learning, then we consider the meaning, exact meaning of the learning is the modification of behavior. That whatever we are learning, we are modifying our behavior, we are modifying our thinking. All the things that we are experiencing in our day-to-day life, we cannot consider all that things a part of our learning. Big things or which experiences that create some type of permanent change in our behavior, only that experiences we can consider that we have learned something and that can be a part of learning. Now we will discuss about some features of learning. In this our first feature is that we have already discussed that it involves some kind of experiences. Some examples are given in your book. We will understand this concept in more detail. One person has learned that in the hostel, whenever the dinner is served to the person or the individuals, then what happened, there is always a one process. What is the process? That firstly there will be the sound of bell, after that the dinner will be served to the individuals. So this process repeated again and again, after that the individual in the habit that this is the process and these are the actions that are occurring daily, so it creates a formation of a habit in the person. Process, there is a repetition, but there is not a compulsion that if we want to make something a part of our learning, then it should be repeated again and again. Like it can be occur at a moment also, like if one child who strikes a matchstick on the side of a matchbox, then what will happen? Obviously the child's finger or hand will get burnt. So in the same way the child get the experience that if in the future also he will do the same thing, the same type of experience he will get. So this is also considered as a part of learning. After that we have already discussed that only that changes that become a part of permanent change in the person's behavior, that only we consider as a learning. The another example we can take that we can consider only as a temporary learning. Which learning we will consider as a temporary learning? Like you have started reading a book and after some time, due to the fatigue or due to the tiredness, or you can say that you are not interested in the book, you stop your learning. So this change that occur in your behavior, that is only a temporary change. In the same way there are more examples that you can see in your daily life. The another example that we can take, like there is a residence in your neighbor where the marriage is being performed. So what is happening? Because the marriage is there, so there is a lot of noise. In starting or in the beginning, you were not used to or you are not habitual to that noise. That's why the noise always distracts you. It also happened with us. So the things that we are responding, to whom we are responding? We are responding to the noise. So noise is continuous, that's why our reflexes. What is the reflex? When we give some reaction immediately, when we react something to the outer things that we know as a stimuli. So this is the reflex that we are giving to the noise. What the reflex we are giving? We are distracting by it. Okay, so what the another word that is also written here, that is the orienting reflexes. Reflex word, we understand that when we react towards something immediately, but what is the meaning of orienting here? Orienting mean to say this is a personal reflex that is occurring in our behavior. What is the personal? The noise that we are experiencing, that is our personal reflex. Reflexes that we are responding or that are occurring in our behavior, they will become weaker day by day. After some time we will be habitual to that noise. Why we are becoming habitual to that noise? Because there is a continuous exposure. Why continuous exposure? Because the noise is continuous in our neighborhood. That's why it becomes our habit. After that, the psychologist said that learning involves some type of psychological event which are in a sequence. So what type of sequence are there? We will now discuss. They were interested in understanding that if the one list of the words is given to the child, then how the child is able to understand and how the child is able to learn that. For that, what they have done, they have taken their pre-test. What is the meaning of pre-test? That they want to know that how much the child know before we give something to him to learn. So that's why they have taken the pre-test of the child. After that, they present one list which they want on the part of the child to be remember. For that, they have given a fixed time. So during this time when the words are learned by the child, so what the child is doing by this, by learning the word, the child is acquiring the new knowledge. So when the child is able to learn, when after that the processing is complete, then the knowledge is acquired. Mean to say, when the child is able to learn the things, the child is now filled up with the new things that he has learned. So after some time, when there is a gap between the learning of the child, the information is recalled by a person. Like earlier we have done our first chapter. So after the gap in your learning, there are the tests. So what was the test doing? The test was doing your recalling. You have recalled all the chapters the earlier you have understood them. So in this way they want to compare the number of the word and the word that the child know earlier and the words that the child learn now. So this concept is known as a inferred process. It means when we are not talking about the performance of the child, the meaning of this word will be more clear. The term that we are using here, inference, it means that like the teacher has given you one poem. So for learning that poem, what you will do? You will try to memorize that poem. So it depends on child to child that how much time the child is taking to remember that. So when the poem will be learned by you, then what the teacher will ask you to recite the poem. The recitation of the poem be only on your part, and what are you reciting, how are you reciting, that will be considered your performance. On the basis of your performance, the teacher will infer that how much you have learned the poem. Here the teacher will not judge you. The teacher will only make some type of result on the evidence that are in front of the teacher by your performance. So I hope that this concept is clear to you. Now we are having our next topic, that is the paradigms of learning. It means paradigms mean to say that learning never take place only in a one way. It always take place in many ways. There are so many methods by which we can learn the things. Here are the some methods that are telling us about the simple responses that are occurring due to the learning, and whether there are the another one that are giving us the complex responses. We'll talk about here the simplest learning, that is known as a conditioning. There are two types of conditioning. The first one is known as a classical conditioning, that is very important, and second is known as a operant conditioning, and another name of this conditioning is instrumental. In the same way, we have another learnings also: observational learning, cognitive learning, verbal learning, and the concept learning. The last one is the skill learning. So read it thoroughly to understand better. Thank you.